हेलो। तो हम इस तरीके से चलेंगे या सो हम इस तरीके से चलेंगे कि पहले जो हमने डिमांड्स रेज करी थी कल, हम उनके बारे में सर से फीडबैक लेंगे और उसके बाद जिस किसी के डाउट्स होंगे एक एक करके सबको एड्रेस करेंगे, ठीक है? हमारा सबसे पहला पॉइंट था डीएमसी इवैल्यूएशन फॉर ऑल पीएचडी स्टूडेंट्स, and this will be taken up by all the departments irrespective of their year. And it was also noted that this DMC should play an active role in the evaluation of students' performance for thesis credits at the end of the each semester for this.
See, I already responded to that. This is something that we have been doing in certain departments. In our own department. So this I already asked the SPGC to consider. This is going to be a meeting at 5:30 today, and they're going to take it up, right? So this is something that we would do, right? But that is a process. SPGC will take it to the Senate. Even for other students, we'll implement. One, making some rules, but more than that is important that how do we implement? That is also requires kind of an efforts. Yesterday we had a heads group meeting. We called the IAC, all the SPGC chair and SPGC chair. We discussed this. I mean, this is something that we certainly would do, correct? Yeah.
So the same thing, the second thing we had taken up was that the similar thing should be taken up for the master's level as well.
Again, it is maybe Granit, you could come this way. This also welcomed by, because I had a meeting in the morning because when I saw this demand. We discussed, this is also being discussed today in the SPGC meeting. It's a very welcome move. We'll take it up, we'll also get it done, okay?
The third point is that there are cases when DPGC student nominees have not been invited to DPGC meetings to recommendations on termination appeal cases. The DPGC meeting minutes should be circulated and student representatives should be involved in all DPGC matters.
I fully agree. This is again, yesterday I raised, in fact, we had a long, IAC meeting where all the heads are there. This is discussed and we'll ensure this happens from henceforth.
So the next thing is the revamp of faculty feedback system to include accountability on either end, transparency in implications of the present SRS methodology, improving communication to the student community, and also to provide basically feedback to thesis supervisors.
Just like that, you have the student reaction survey for the courses. This is what we can do for the supervision, right? This is again we are discussed in the morning. Then the review form would have a different kinds of question because we have to be, response for that. So we'll formulate that. That also will come in place, yeah. And that I'm sure would really help, yeah, getting a feedback.
The next is that we propose that faculty sensitization sessions should be held twice each semester by some external organization with mandatory participation.
This also was discussed. We have to identify who could give this kind of a program. It's a welcome move. I'll get back to you very shortly. We will certainly, put in place some mechanism by which we'll be able to address the concerns as to how, one has to look at the sensitivity, especially when students coming from different background, what is expected and how to handle when students are under stress and so on. So this is something that we will do and you will get to know soon. Yeah, already we constituted a committee, it's a 5-member committee where the student representative also there, and they are going to start their interaction from tomorrow onwards. They have given 15 days, kind of time to come up with a proposal as to how we can really decrease the stress amongst the students. What are the, remedial measures? What should be structural change? What are the academic, in the kind of a thing that what changes we have to bring in. This is something that we are going to really do it, and they're going to discuss with, all the student representative. And not only that, what I have also sort of requested all the aides is to have department-specific interactions. I'm sure many of your department already, communicated to you. They're going to be open house, they're going to be discussion, because there are some of the challenges that are department centric because of the nature of your work and so on. So we have to really address at a comprehensive level, at the department level, some are at institute level. This is something we already discussed, and you will soon see many different feedback channels that will be opened up, and some that could be addressed in the department. There are certain things that has to be addressed at the institute level that we are going to take it up to the next heads group meeting. So this we have already communicated to the head. I'm sure, at least I know that 4 different departments, they copied the mail to me that they have scheduled the meetings. You would get to know, and I would encourage all of you to be there, share your feedback, and then see how as a community we can make this institute a good place for studies and research. That's my request to all of you.
So the next thing was that a proper ombudsman group where a committee of 2 students, 2 faculty members and to be chaired by an external DG level officer be constituted. Such a committee can openly use feedback mechanism scores and a certain threshold be instituted and an automatic ombuds appeal be generated if the score doesn't comply with the same.
This also had given a response that we will set up a committee of ombudsman group where you will have students and faculty, which could be even identified by the student community, right? And we'll get back to you. I'm working with that. This is again I have given as an agenda item for the 5-member committee to really come up with the structure. How do you do that? How often you have to do that? What are the parameters that they look at and so on? So we will, in 15 days you will get to know, what kind of recommendations are being made here.
So, if in case the thesis supervisor guide needs to be changed, the past thesis work should be considered subject to the research domains, and the HODs should appoint an external co-guide to help the student complete his thesis.
Yeah, so you have to understand that each project and the whatever the thesis project that is taken is unique. Each case could be unique, but what is important is that whenever there is a change of supervisor, we have to see that how the student can graduate without loss of much time. This is the responsibility of the department, and this also has been flagged up yesterday. We'll take it up. We'll take it up and see. You have to really see who could be the supervisor, if at all, if there is a change. Who could really help the student to complete the process? That's the you cannot say external, internal. It has to be the best one who could really handhold and help the student to complete. That should be the motive, right? So this is something that we'll discuss, and we already sensitized the head on that. We'll come back, in 15 days. What are the mechanisms that we can put in place here?
The thesis supervisor should be answerable if the PhD thesis is not completed after 5 years, and guide should give reason to DMC as well as the estimated deadline for the completion of the thesis.
Yes, so when you have a DMC, then the DMC's role also to understand what is that, is something that one has to do, both from the supervisors, from the department, and also from the students. We'll mandate this, that for the committee also specifically request the supervisor to address if at all there is anything that, and advise what can be done. So this is mandate of the the committee as well. So we will sensitize that. We will make it happen. Yeah.
So for PhD students whose significant thesis work has been completed in 9 semesters, then the option of exiting an MSR degree should be allowed mandatorily.
See, this is already there, and in fact, there are certain departments where you don't have MSR, right? So there is a proposal that is already in discussion in EPC, Educational Policy Committee, that even in those departments where you don't have such degree, how would they exit? Can you prepare, propose that kind of a degree? That is there, is going to come to the Senate. When that happens, it's going to be much more easier. I mean, as of now, anyone in any department would like to exit, with MTech or MSR, this is allowed, right? Now we are bringing in even in departments where you don't have, for example, department that doesn't offer MSR or MTech. How do you do? So we are, working on that exit policy as well. So that's going to come in the next, probably next Senate meeting here.
So there should be reinstatement of all the PG terminated students recently with immediate effect.
See, I have asked already the SPGC committee to look at it today. You'll get to know maybe by, when this ends what the recommendation is. I have already requested them to consider it favorably. Right? We'll see. Yeah.
There should be an institute compulsory course in the first year related to mental well-being and mutual care to be conducted in practical mode in groups of 15 to 20 people.
This again was discussed in a very detailed way yesterday in the ISC meeting. It is agreed upon that we'll come up with a course, certainly not in this semester, but the coming semester, if we can put in place, that would be great. That's our target, right? We are working on it.
And the last thing is, we propose that the reimbursements for therapy should be allowed through medical insurance and more experienced counselors be added into the counseling service team.
First, let me take the counselor thing. We have advertised 4 more positions, and I can tell you that getting positions created is tough. This time we have spoken to the ministry and got a special permission to increase it. So 4 we are already advertised. We are recruiting. So it will certainly, that is something that we do feel that we have to increase. That would happen. It's already advertised. Regarding the reimbursement, we'll talk to the insurance companies because it all depends on which insurance company you are dealing with, whether they would allow, and if they do allow, whether they are going to do with the same premium that you paid or we have to do more, which we will negotiate. We will do that here.
So yeah, those were our demands. And if anyone has further questions, they can one by one raise their hand, and they'll be called forward, and they can then ask their question.
10 नंबर जो है काउंसलर का इनफ है 9500 स्टूडेंट प्लस फैकल्टी प्लस स्टाफ के लिए, क्योंकि अभी 6 हैं और 4 और इंक्लूड नए आ रहे हैं, तो 10 का इनफ है। कितने नंबर कितने स्टूडेंट को वार्निंग मिलती है वो लिस्ट निकालो। किसी से नहीं मिलते हैं, कोई पीजी जिसको वार्निंग मिली है, टर्मिनेशन मिली है, किसी से नहीं मिलते हैं। जो लड़का सुसाइड किया है मीना, उसका सेकेंड टाइम है, आवाज़ पहुंच रहा होगा, ठीक है। यदि उनसे इससे पहले मिला गया रहता, काउंसलर मिले रहते, आई डोंट थिंक दिस सिचुएशन ये
ठीक है, तो मैं संदीप का क्वेश्चन बोल देता हूँ। अगर कुछ हो तो मेरे को बता देना कि उनका पॉइंट ये है कि 10 काउंसलर्स हैं अभी, और क्या वो 10,000 बच्चों को सफाइज करते हैं हमारे कैंपस में, कितने ज़्यादा बच्चों की वार्निंग लगती है, कितनों को वो टेकअप कर पाते हैं। अगर वो ज़्यादा हों तो जो केसेस हमें आज देखने को मिले हैं वो ना हो। तो
See, as I told you, people also quit and go, right? I mean, we have to advertise and get it. Anyway, so we can do what best we can do given the rules and regulations, right? Every position that you create, you have to get it approved. The board. It's not that I decide that this many staff number required, I can do it. It doesn't happen that way. So it goes through the process. In that, there is always a calculation of how many doctors, how many counselors, and so on. So this counseling is not something that thought about when the IIT system came in, because there are a number of medical officers that are sort of approved earlier, but the counselor is a new thing, right? So therefore, we also have to discuss with the ministry to get such kind of sanctions. So that is how we are able to increase the number. Yes, I mean, whether it is adequate, probably no, but then we have to work for it to get more people, right? Unless you have a good designation and salary, and you're not going to get the best counselors. So if you hire somebody in 5,000, 6,000, they're not going to do the job. So that's what the motive, like clearly looking for. We can increase more, but then it goes step by step. You cannot ask at a time a large number, right? Yeah.
To follow up on this, firstly, does the IIT system, like when it was instituted, was it for 10,000?
Mic se.
If that rate is getting increased every year, then why is this process taking time?
Well, see, when the IIT was established, right, it is a completely government institute where everything is given by the government. If you ask me today whether everything is given by the government, the answer is no. Every building that you see, you have to construct from the earnings of the institute. Government doesn't give you. It changes, right? So now government says that I will not sanction. You get your own money and you do it, right? So then you have to make avenues for how you can generate money, right?
So why can't that money be used for counselors and not for buildings?
if you are you fine without hostel? Are you fine without hostel?
Like this is also important.
No, no, I'm just telling you. That is how we do. You know how many we have? Close to 400 staffs which are contractual, right? We pay from institute earning. Most of the staff work in the hostels are like that, right? So you know, what best we do it, right? So,
And all the things you accepted, except the external documents person. Like what do you have to say about that?
but I did not say that we'll have. I said that we are taking it,
You
right?
accepted everything.
No, I said we are taking it to the committee. They're going to come up with that, you know, whole structure, right? I never said that this will not happen either, right?
But do we have to then sit here for 15 days because most of the things had a 15-day timeline? Do we have to sit here for 15 days?
But how do you think these are, you know, structural policy decisions, right? Do you think that as a director I can take decisions and everything? No.
So can we be ensured that another such open house with you at the center as soon as the 15 days limit is over?
See, what I am saying is that, you know, the committee is going to meet all of you. Why don't you give your feedback there, and then you see whether it is getting implemented or whether it's getting recommended or not. You know, if it is not happening, we'll meet again. What is that? Sorry?
If the meetings, all those meetings are fruitful, this gathering won't be there. Till now, there was no grievances addressed and all. That is why all the problems were got choked down till here. If all the problems had been solved by timeline fashion or something, this gathering wouldn't be there here.
Well, I can tell you whatever that even the last week that there were some, you know, requests. Majority we are able to do it, right? Yeah. Sorry.
In that meeting, also only UG person is present. No one from PG representation is present.
All I can tell you is the last week, whatever discussion we had, whatever the demands were there, we sort of addressed most of them, right? That was done. You bring it, we'll try to do whatever is doable, certainly, yeah.
Sir, in this committee of 5 members, is there any student representation?
What will be the power held by the Overcans group and what can be the consequences against the professors who mentally harass students?
See, this is when you have a new structure put in place, then there will be terms of references and how it will be handled, right? So that is exactly said. You know, if you ask me today, I write down, I cannot write down, right? I mean, that is where you have to put in. I mean, see, please remember, it is not just writing something on the paper. It is, you know, really making that happen. That is far more important, right? You know, that's what I'm saying. Therefore, all these things need discussion and we have to put in place. Therefore, we don't, again, you know, having that, again, it is not effective. It's not also something that is desirable, right? That is discussion, right? Yeah.
Can you at least ensure another open house with you 15 days later? Because if we can't address our problems to you, right, then we have to go via this certain processes and channels. And then, like, people's emotions are high because we've lost 3 lives of people on.
I have lost the life of a dean as well. Please understand, right? Please let me also speak, right? This institute has everybody. There's a faculty, there's a student, there is a staff member. Any life that we lost affects equally to me. You know, it's not that if something happens, I am immune to it or I don't react to it. This is my 23rd year, okay? Please remember, I am not somebody who came from elsewhere, right? No, I'm just telling you, right?
Just one open house, just like this,
Right.
15 days from now, reporting on what are the status.
No, I can only give you a status report. Certainly I can give you, right? Yeah, no problem. As to what has been done until 15 days. Yeah, no issues. Yeah.
Sir,
Sorry?
in person. Yes, sir.
I mean, you have maybe 100 people, 200 people come in one of those rooms, sit. I'll explain you. No problem. Yeah? Yeah.
Sir, sir, I'll have a question. Sir, so yesterday, many of us gathered in the Senate Hall and we were talking about a lot of problems. The conversation gained momentum and everybody related anecdotes and experiences that they've had. Right? Today with Dua sir, with Shalabh sir, we were also talking about a lot of things. And it turned out that sir was actually not aware of very, very serious problems that were happening in the institute. We have talked about mental health, we have talked about harassment, we've talked about like academic distress and all of that. I want to ask you one, as a director and as administration in general, how do you go about ensuring that there is that pipeline, that you know what problems are actually happening within the institute? Number one. And number two, given that it is established that we don't know what everybody else is going through, right? That was established like very well. So moving forward, if you had to like come up with a structured mechanism such that you are in touch with the ground reality of what is happening, do you have any plan for how you do it?
Yeah, that's exactly the mandate of the 5-member committee. That they are going to give us even structure as to how you can have this channel open too, right? Yeah, I mean,
Sir, can you once clarify what is the exact purpose of the 5-member group, what they will do, and what will, at the end of the 15 days, what will they come up with?
this is just let me clarify. The committee is not going to look at each grievance and solve. That's not the mandate of the committee. The committee is to propose. Let me speak now. The committee is to propose the mechanism, like he is saying, right? You know, there's a how you know. So that committee would tell, okay, this for this kind of a thing, you have to have this kind of a representation. There could be a team of people, there could be staff involved, students involved. You know, that they report to these people, and that's the feedback mechanism. That they will come up. So that's where I really want you guys to tell. So these are the issues are there, and then they will open up that kind of thing. You know, they can propose, and then many of you would be part of that. Yeah.
Whenever we are trying to question anything, the first question asked to us is who's your supervisor, who's your warden, who's your HOD. But the system revolves around in such a way that you are somehow we get afraid of कि यार मेरे marks में issue आएगा या something like that. So we are not able to question properly, and the things do not reach. That's the
No, that's exactly I'm saying. You be part of that discussion to come up with a mechanism, right? You can put a structure so that would collect the grievance, whatever shortcomings are there. So it will take, and at the same time, you would also know what are the challenges we also face, which can be prioritized, which can become second, and so on. So we'll put a mechanism for that. See, if you make in this committee which is going to discuss and collate, right? That is the student gymkhana is there, right? No, you can co-opt people. I mean, I'm just putting it that, so there could be some more people there, right? No, you can always have a special invitees and include that. That's not an issue. Yeah.
Sir, how are we going to be sure that the recommendations of this committee, if we have a student member in this committee, we are really strong about that student member. But when the recommendations come out, what is the assurance we have that that will be implemented?
See, I mean, if you ask me now, you ask after 15 days. We'll see, right?
Nice, sir.
साले क्या पता फिर से एक साले YouTube
I mean, in one of these seven, the L20, L19, we'll discuss it.
You're saying you have a committee of 2 students and somehow you expect that these 2 students, who by the way don't have any resources to conduct any sort of macro surveys, to conduct any sort of these macro analysis, how are we going to scope the problem for you? Sir, so yesterday one thing that was discussed in the meeting that we need expert help, we need external help to first scope the problem. Yesterday in the meeting, a lot of things were discussed which we had no ideas about. I'm sure, sir, a lot of people in the administration don't have enough insight about what is actually going on. My question is, on the macro level, what will you do to scope out the problem, to ask us what is happening? The 2 students in a committee cannot do that. They cannot carry out a macro analysis of the mental health situation that is present.
We do understand. I'm not saying that this 5-member committee is going to do that. 5-member committee is going to only tell after discussing how this mental health, kind of a screening can be done, and for that, what is that we need to do, right? So that's the recommendation they're going to make, and then we'll try to implement that. That's the step to go. Yeah.
Sir, the underlying issue is not the lack of mental health, but it is the abuse or the misuse of the
Mike.
How is that going to be checked?
Because there are numerous incidents have been quoted and because there are cases which are unquoted about incidents happening in class, outside class, in personal meetings, where students have expressed their grievance to professors and the response is, naam kya hai, roll number kya hai, bata do. Which goes on to just say, my grades might just be deducted without any help given to me.
Same.
It's a group, right? So you want to have student representing there, right? Right? So let's use that
अरे माइक में बात करो यार.
starting point, right?
चलो आगे जाओ.
Neither did it mention for
She doesn't have any faculty advisor, right?
this information.
No, please understand, she is doing a coursework. There are departments supervisor not assigned on day one, and chemical engineering doesn't do, right?
So what about the previous two suicides?
If you want, in the future it can be done. I thought that that's not required.
The underlying point is people taking accountability. People as institutions plus faculty remorsing the loss of a student, remorsing the loss of a person who was a part of this campus community. That you have actively been looking after. This is your job to take accountability, and I think that fundamentally is the issue. Even if you instate this 5-member community, what is the incentive? What exactly is the mechanism through which they will be able to take accountability? They will be able to talk to 10,000 different students, 10,000 students who have no mechanism of interaction. That is the question that all of us gathered here are asking.
No, we have to have a representative who come and discuss with them, right? Express them, and then they will put in the mechanism. That's what they will propose, right? Yeah.
Sir, even if a committee is set, words professors say have immediate impact on students. I will just quote an example. Some professor picked up a student in class and said, "तुझे तो मैंने पिछले सेमेस्टर में देखा था वापस आ गया क्लास में वापस फेल होना है क्या?" So that student will not go to a grievance committee.
See, this is
I will set a paper so hard, तू pass करके दिखा दे. This is not a way students have to be addressed. We are here to give
no.
education.
I agree with you that that's not something that is expected from a faculty. I agree with you. That is where I am saying that yesterday we had a discussion. We said that there has to be a kind of an orientation as to what can be said, what should not be told. You know, that's something that we did discuss, right? Yeah. About the professors only, we are talking about the faculty.
माइक क्यों नहीं पकड़ रहे? हमारा काम कर रहे सुनने दो यार.
Organize various things for the students. All we need is your support for that. Okay, there are big events where there are budget questions. There are various kinds of questions.
आपको रिकॉर्ड करना है.
Please sir, कर रहे होते हैं तो आपका ऑप्शन वेट कर रहे होते हैं. Okay, we are not saying you have to only that is the only work that we have. और ये बुरी तरीके से बात की जाती है. Not just by the professors, but also by the staff that is working in the offices. Why are we supposed to take this?
You have to hear lines like तुम्हें 4 साल हो गए इस कॉलेज में इतना भी नहीं आता है क्या ऐसे लोगे डिग्री.
I have heard like multiple never derogatory statements, which I have definitely not heard.
I will talk to all the dean's office. We'll put in, we'll sensitize. This is something. But if you happen to know something, report to us. We'll take action. Right? Yeah.
So when the student does something wrong, they are not just sensitized, they are applied STAC on. So just sensitizing.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. So we are going. That's exactly the point I told. Right? It's not just only faculty. Even staff members needs to be sensitized. I agree. I mean, this is something that.
Action taken on them, so that needs to be visible to everyone, not just internal.
I mean, it shouldn't happen. I mean, see, for example, there are differences in the personalities, but that should not come in the way of their profession, right? We are accountable, you have to respond, you are supposed to do the duty. But then there are also staff members who have went out of their way to help many others, right? So we have to sensitize, we have to bring in a culture, that is something that we'll do, yeah.
So the students, you talk about there are different rules for students. And for faculty, you're talking about sensitization. There should be rules because rules are there for a reason. You cannot for students, we take that there might be some bad, there might be some good. There might be some bad in faculty and there might be some good. But there have to be the rules because you cannot take everybody will do things in a good manner.
Yeah, we agree with you.
In any faculty when they join, there is a promotion and many other things. All these points are discussed when anybody considered for many years. It's being considered. It's not that it's not being considered.
Sir, when we asked Shalabh sir about the same, he said that if he was he himself was in that situation, he would have helped. He would have done anything to help that kid. But sir, there are some faculties who actually might do the opposite. So sir, this rule applies to all faculties that they should be sensitized. That is fine. But sir, if we already put in place that faculty feedback form, and in that faculty feedback form, if the feedback score of particular faculty is below a threshold, then that faculty, everyone should know that this particular faculty talked in some rude manner or didn't actually help students in a better way. So sir, then that faculty should not be allowed to opt for any positions of power. Because sir, if that is students to actually deal with it.
I mean, I agree with your point. I mean, this should certainly be considered. If somebody is not considerate, if he or she becomes having an executive position, then it becomes difficult. I know.
Louder.
So we've spoken for 8.5 minutes, 5 students have spoken, and there have been at least 50 things new that have come. In how many committees have you heard of these problems? That means that the pipeline you're currently using to scope out the problems that the students are actually facing are ineffective. So again, to reiterate my question, sir, can we have a surety from the administration that you will set up a proper mechanized, expert-driven pipeline to scope out these problems with transparency and with a mechanism that we know it's effective and that it's in the works?
See, one director, one person, if you expect that they will solve all the problems of 10,000 campus, it's not.
तो डायरेक्टर क्यों हो यार फिर?
Therefore, it has to be delegated. That's exactly the reason I already requested all the heads to first listen to the students. And there's an open house already started in every department, right? So the idea is to get the feedback, and every department is going to give a feedback. Some that would be addressed at the department level, some that has to be addressed at the institute level. So this is what coming, and I really request all the DPGC members, student members, to take part in that process. Therefore, we can, really put in a system that is mutually beneficial, right?
Kapil, louder please. Louder.
External committee member, TG level member. According to you, that person should be there or not?
See, I have already gave this proposal to the 5 member committee, right? So we are working on it, and we'll tell you, right?
The question is about the class teachers association. We are doing everything in the DPGC, and during the SPGC meeting, we met the organization Ramkumar sir with the Vijay sir. He was so persuasive. He was the guide as well as the DPGC, and professors told them to speak as a DPGC, but he was so personal to Piyush, and he spoke as a personal problem there. But still, that professor is a DPGC. Can you even ask him to resign? Because he's still DPGC and he was so personal to Piyush. And you don't need any investigation.
Sure, I'll discuss the other department.
I will discuss.
Sir, if some action is not taken against such cases, sir, then how can we hope that we'll form some 5-member committee, and if you are approving it now, and then there might be some action on the faculty in the future? So how can we assure of that?
So, I told you 15 days, right? This also you'll get to know what happened. Right?
Delay on 15 days, sir. 15 दिन साले टीएनएस की तरफ से तू है
I suffer from depression. I stayed back after informing Shanmughraj sir that I'm staying with my friend. Once the corona passed away and all the students were coming back, my former HSS Rajbhushan, he refused to sign something that would have allowed me to come inside my room, which is allotted for me, for which I am paying. I'm ready to undergo the entire quarantine. Okay. My supervisor went and requested Bhushan many times that kindly allow this person, because food, do you agree or not? Food and shelter is basic or not?
Yes, sir.
He refused. He completely refused. My only sin was that my supervisor changed department from HSS to computer. Is that my fault?
No.
Okay, he instructed the lab in charge to specifically target me, and he prevented me from just entering into a room which lay vacant. I suffer from depression. Many times I thought of hanging myself.
Same.
I thought of hanging myself. I did not do it
Same.
because of my late father. I thank Professor Rajbhushan that he has taught me courage, patience, and the toughness to confront face to face. It is because of people like you that students are committing suicide. You okay. I'm deeply grateful to him. This is the sir who understood the problem. And these are corona time. Okay, people are depressed all around the world. So many people are passing away. Sir accepted my request. And later on, this person had to be forced by the director just to sign that so that I could get back to my room. This is the treatment that the people after getting so much salary for this.
So one last question, I think, because I have a meeting in 5
Justice! We want 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 justice! न्याय करो तुम्हारे अरे नीचे कर दो चित्रेश ओ भाई अरे बड़ा वाला सब नीचे करो यार अरे भाई हेलो सुहेल भाई नीचे करो यार पोस्टर कुछ काम वालों को दे दो अब पीछे से मार सकते थोड़ा सा कोट पेन का वही
I have to only look at it. Really cannot.
grave things that push people to commit suicide in the first place. that we do not know, we have no idea of it. At this point, we have understood that the problem lies in professors having too much power and too much control over their students, and students having no recourse to these problems. We understood that professors don't care about us, they don't care about our mental health. When we go to them, they push us away. We can see here also, right? There are hundreds of people sitting there, and you're telling us that it's the last question and you have to call. This is not. It's 12, it's not 12, right? It's going on 9 p.m. yesterday. Right? We are sitting here with great problems.
Certainly, the colleagues are listening to it, right? It's not that they are not listening, right?
If you're listening to such grave issues and you're not aware of it, and even the other esteemed position holders are not aware of such issues, then what does the student do? Can the professors only abuse their power? Indefinitely. You can terminate a student, but what does the student do if they are the one being abused by the professor's power? Can you terminate the professor?
No, see, I will, as recommended, we will have this ombudsman room set up, right? So certainly that would discuss. We'll have, whatever you mentioned. We'll have this set of faculty again, and the student representative. Some of the faculty yourself can recommend, nominate. So whatever you bring it to them, we'll look at each one and try to address them as much as possible.
Sir, actually, ombudsman job is for the grievance redressal, right? But what steps will you take that those problems do not occur in the first place? That is our point.
There are two different things. One is what are the preventive measures that you can bring in, right? Something happened now, how are you addressed? That's a different thing. So these are two different things, but both needs to be looked at. Right?
Yes or no? Yes or no?
I already told you, right? This is given to that. But do you think that would solve everything?
Yes.
Right? Do you think that would solve everything? So, right?
We always start by solving one problem. We do not have representation of professor powers in too much. We can't go on putting values. We have to change the entirety of the system for it to solve the problem.
We can only evolve mechanism by discussion. Right? It's not just I am telling that something would happen. I don't have any powers like that either, right? So it has to be, discussed, and everyone should work together to make that happen. Please understand that. It is not just me. I am telling, or I issue an order, it will happen. It doesn't happen.
Sir.
But the question we are asking is, second that we don't know, we do not want an assurance that an external member will be added to the committee. We want an assurance that you will second us on that.
We just want your support on our side, sir. That's all we want. We just want you on our side.
Of course.
What is your personal
Okay, you when you say me as a director, yes, of course. Why would I think that I shouldn't help student? Obviously, we are there to help students, right? Certainly, I would. This is the point. I will put it across. You wait for 14 days. Yeah.
इसको यहाँ पकड़ के ऐसा कर रहा था सर.
Yeah, there is an effect report, right? That is submitted to the Senate. Then feedback goes.
Okay, what are the consequences after seeing the report? It's just see a view. That's all.
It's all discussed, and if it is alarming, then we are going to advise the department what needs to be done.
Sir, then the alarms are not working.
Right?
The alarms are not working.
Like-
Why? Because some of the sanction strength. 150 are sitting with us. Why did that happen? Alarm did not work. Second thing, seniors got least CGPA 7. Our batch, more than 8, they are countable people. Why did that happen? Alarm did not work. And next thing, there are some decisions which no student is being involved. And the professor is given 100% autonomy. And there is no bifurcation of given for the student. How did you get marks in the 100? Sir, this is not only to specific the MBA department, there's so many other departments also. Sir, material science department, a core MTech department, had least CGPA of 8.5 first years. MBA, average CGPA is 4 point or 5 points. Sir, out of 150, 30 people get terminated. For first semester, 30 people get terminated. Next semester, 30 people get third semester, 30 people. So only 20 people will be left over after the MBA. This is outburst. People are not sitting with pain. People are sitting with outburst.
I agree. I never said that that is not the case. Right? I do feel that. Yeah, certainly.
Feelings. Assured us that you were going to second our point. We want the minutes of such an emergency meeting public for the students to hold. Individual opinions of all members on each of the points to be public.
Please understand that 5-member is not going to discuss individual cases. They are going to understand what are the challenges that are there and then suggest ways how that can be addressed, right? Structural changes, if there has to be separate committees to be made, something has to be changed in the minimum CPI or all academic structure needs to be. This is the kind of a suggestion that there is. Of course.
Students. Yes, we want justice.
Tomorrow they are going to meet, right? Or who are you going to be there? Ask them.
Sir, I just want to highlight one specific topic here. Sir, we have this one committee. We are talking about a lot of committees today. I just want to mention one particular committee, that is the HMC, the Hall Management Committee. All hall presidents attend that meeting. All wardens attend those meetings. Sir, one particular meeting was asked to be organized last year in January, exactly 12 months ago. That meeting was held for the first time in March. In that meeting, for 3 months, we demanded that DOIP should be present. But DOIP wasn't there in the meeting. We asked for another meeting 1 month later. Again, DOIP wasn't present there. Sir, the concerns raised by students in those meetings and also the wardens were first of misconduct by the overall office and also DOIP and the members in the DOIP office. Second, sir, the issues which were coming up in hostels where the students were living in inhospitable conditions. Sir, is it not our duty to provide students with basic amenities which should be uniform across all hostels? Why should each individual HEC work towards ensuring that my hostel should get this facility? Sir, we put forward the proposal of one student standards monitoring committee in all hostels. This was passed unanimously in that meeting, and it was also discussed that when in the next meeting DOIP would be present, we'll put forward a formal impeachment. But sir, these two things did not occur, and it has been 1 year since then. Sir, what is your action on this?
Sir, what's your action on Samit Ray Chaudhary? DOIP.
Sure that this will happen. Sir, that civil maintenance first took place in Hall 3, now it is going on in Hall 1. But still there are other amenities which we actually wanted to focus on. Those are just drinkable water, basic number of washing machines. Sir, these all things are not at all necessary and not at all positive of,